to All Talk, the Geekbox Forums community podcast. This is episode 26 for the week of July 30th, 2012. I am Dakazu from Forums, and who is with me this week?
Hello, this is DarkFox8.
I am Mr. X.
And Totoro.
We're four-manning it this week.
It's because we're cool.
Yeah.
So, topics.
No one can hear. I love how we always edit out the silences, so no one can hear these awkward pauses we keep having.
Well, I was gonna say you guys might be cool guys, but you're not cool dudes. But I said nah. But then I said anyways.
I've been on the Cool Dudes podcast.
Yeah.
I thought that was a super secret thing that we're not going to talk about because it's so super secret.
No, it's not super secret. It's just I don't know when it's gonna happen. When I get less lazy, it's gonna be a pilot episode that's gonna be dropped randomly.
Oh,
the real Cool Dudes podcast is going to be
You're
dropped.
just going to post it on 4chan,
year.
untitled.
Yeah, I'm going to post hentai pictures or something. People are going to come flocking to it.
Then they're going to be like, what is this random nonsense they're talking about?
I wanted a hentai picture.
So I have a story about what happened to me yesterday.
You have a story?
I do have a story. My wife was relaxing in the bed on her laptop, and I had taken some empty soda cans back to the kitchen.
I thought for sure you were going to say you took some drugs.
No. But I'm at the kitchen, I'm putting away all these empty soda cans, and all of a sudden I hear my wife I need help! So I run into she's running out of the bedroom, and I run toward her, and I'm like, what's happening? She's like, centipede. So
Okay.
A giant centipede was crawling on her back, and she thought it was her hair at first.
How big are we talking?
So this centipede was at least 8 inches long.
Oh, Jesus.
And if you the width, including how long its feet were sticking out, almost 2 inches. It was huge.
You should have taken a picture.
We were freaking out.
Or a video and put it on the YouTubes.
Yeah, you said, honey, stay right there. Hold on. Let me set
While
up
she's
these
freaking
lamps.
Please
Let
tell
me
me
set up
that
these
you...
lamps and shades.
Let me
Please
get
tell
off
me
the
that
tripod.
please tell me you nuked the site from orbit just to be sure.
Well, I grabbed the handy vac because usually it's a safe way to suck it up and then take it outside and kill it. But so I reached for the handy vac, and I went up to go use it, and then the handy vac had no juice in it.
Oh, jeez.
I had left it charged, I had plugged it in, but then I had unplugged the socket, the charger from the socket in the wall, because I was like, I gotta save my electricity. Yeah, that was bad timing for that. So I had to grab it with my hand.
And by this time, your wife was half-eaten by the centipede? Because it's a man-eater.
Well, I think some centipedes are actually poisonous.
Really?
Centipedes suck. Okay, I'm pretty sure I told the story about how I got bit by one in the middle of the night, and I woke up and I was like, what the hell? And then my arm was all swollen in one spot. So yeah, they sting or they bite or whatever, but it sucks. But yeah, so that was the story. It's basically there was a giant centipede.
How juicy are centipedes? If you just slap the centipede in your wife's back, would it have been a
If
giant...
it's 2 inches wide and 8 inches long...
But that just might be
that thing was huge. I've never seen a centipede that big.
Are you talking about the splat?
Yeah, I'm talking about how juicy
I
they
just
are.
felt a crunch when I grabbed the 3 paper towels that I double folded so I wouldn't have to feel it. But it sucks when you have to splat something with your hand because you still feel that. Ugh.
The crunch.
I would have just got some tongs and picked it up and threw it out.
Oh, I've done that before, but we just it was getting away and it was on this blue blanket, and I just kept pulling the blue blanket forward so it wouldn't run off the side of the bed, and then we'd have to upturn the bed. I mean, we still upturned the bed afterwards.
Yeah, there could have been a family of them.
Oh,
You just killed the mother.
Yeah, the problem is it's been raining a lot.
Or what if it was a
it's
baby?
been forcing the bugs inside.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's what it does. That's what happens, on the mainland when it gets cold.
You could get a cat to take care of that, but then the downside is you'd have a cat.
Oh,
Cats are awesome.
The dog was on the bed at the time, and my wife was like, save the dog. So she told she's trying to get the dog up, and the dog was like, I'm sleepy.
Was the dog and zero fucks were given that day?
Pretty much. I don't want the dog getting close to the centipede. God.
Yeah.
It would have just eaten it.
Oh, God.
Or the centipede would have eaten your dog.
That's a scary thought.
Yeah, we have the house centipedes here, and they're ugly, but they pretty much leave you alone.
I don't have that many encounters with centipedes, so I don't know if they gross me out. But cockroaches, I hate them. You said you got like 3 paper towels. I would get like the whole roll of paper towels to pick it up. And my rule is I never pick it up while it's alive and kicking. I have to spray and drown it with Raid, and then wait like 30 minutes to make sure it's dead, and then I pick it up with like 30 paper towels.
Well,
Here, I
don't come
thought-
to Hawaii because the cockroaches here are very big.
Yeah, I was somehow picturing like Darfox with a can of Aquanet and a lighter, and taking care of that situation that way.
Well, one time there was a flying cockroach in my kitchen, and I ran. My kitchen has 2 entries, right? Well, this is my old kitchen back in North Miami Beach. It had 2 entries, and I heard it flying around. I heard like the wings splatter against the wall. So I went to get the Raid, and so very slowly walking down my hallway, and I recall I had the Raid close to my chest, similar to how and
Did you CQC some bugs?
but thinking back, I had the wrong strategy, because if I had it close to my chest, I should have had something else in my other arm, like Snake has his knife, but I just had
Could have had a
the
fly
bug
swatter.
spray. Yeah, that would have been useful, because what it did is it flew right at me. And I sprayed like a bitch in the air, like waving my hand wildly, like very sissy, like. And then
Was it like that scene in Community where what's her face sprays pepper spray and then runs into it because she sprays it while she's running?
No, I never seen Community, but I turned the other way when I ran. And I tripped over myself, and I fell on my knee, and it hurt. And then my first thought was that, oh my god, it's gonna fall on top of me, because I sprayed it and it's gonna fall on top of me. So I quickly like checked myself if it was on my neck or my back. But then I stood up and it wasn't there, right? And then I quickly checked myself, see, is it on me? Is it behind me? So I said no. That must mean that the Raid has a lot of stopping power. It must have sent it back, and it did. It sent it back like all the way to the living room. Like holy shit, the Raid is like it just propelled it far away.
It sounds like that it won that battle though.
Well, it's dead and I'm alive. Just my knee hurt for like the whole next day because I fell on it. Like my full weight fell on my knee.
I hate insects.
I don't
I
think
hate
anyone
cockroaches
really likes
specifically.
insects.
There's some weirdos out there.
Like,
Did it-
well, I
Sorry,
mean,
go ahead.
I really, really don't like them. I mean, just
Some
Oh,
people
no,
let
it is.
tarantulas bite them so they can get high.
No, really?
Yep.
you can get high without a
Why don't
tarantula
you just
biting
get
you.
a can of paint?
Some people let snakes bite them.
Well,
You know-
those people are called stupid.
I recall Spike TV having a TV show called A Thousand Ways to Die. And in it, one of the ways was some guy had like a scorpion or a spider. No, I think it was a black widow. And he was like fetishizing the black widow, and he was like, I'm gonna let her bite me a little bit, so I build a resistance to it,
Nope.
an immunity
Nope.
to it, so that I could just hang out with it right in my arm. But it just bit him once and it killed him.
Nope. Nope.
What did you
Nope.
think was
nope,
gonna happen?
Nope. Nope.
I don't know.
Nope,
he thought
nope,
he thought he
nope,
could
nope,
have it on his
nope.
shoulder like a pet or something.
That's like a
Pikachu.
Darwin Award.
Like a
Like,
Pikachu?
Yeah, like a Pikachu. Like this is my Pikachu on my shoulder.
Fuck Sheila.
And then it bites his eyeball.
Yeah, it just bit him once. So obviously, he just died.
Oh, nope.
And apparently,
Nope.
he had a bunch of bugs and like lizards, and they had gotten out. And when the police had found him, his body was like a playground, inside and out for all these bugs and stuff.
No.
Okay, we can stop talking about this.
No.
That freaks you out too much. You might have to cut it.
No.
There's some people who are sensitive to bug stuff.
Nope.
I think it wasn't last week you guys did the eat box, and now we're doing the
Yes.
bug box.
Yeah.
We're really emulating the
We
main
need to
podcast.
combine the two and make the eat bug
Oh
box.
no, I hate
No,
Fear Factor
no,
when they eat cockroaches
no.
and shit.
You know,
But they will just have Totoro eat some bug.
No,
yeah,
no,
I would
no,
say,
no,
I would
no.
say, like, depending on the bug, I would probably be willing to eat it. Like,
Would you
Oh.
eat that centipede?
No, fuck no.
Oh, God.
I would eat like the mealworms.
Well, you
You've seen
could
those
fry it up in a
mealworms,
frying
right?
pan or something first, or deep fry it.
I might. I
it'd
would
be nice and
probably
crunchy.
eat like grasshoppers. That's pretty common.
No, what?
Japanese culture, Asian culture.
Chocolate covered grasshoppers.
It's not chocolate covered, but it's like pretty common to eat like grasshoppers. They're pretty edible, I hear, and also
I like how you throw in the I
baby
hear.
bees, like bee larvae.
And chilled monkey brains.
If I could find the
Is that
audio
an
clip
Indiana
of
Jones
chilled
reference?
monkey brains.
I'm just
Yes.
listing things that are like just like
And
common.
I know
Speaking
that
of bugs.
go ahead.
Remember that scene from Temple of Doom when they're
Oh.
being squished and she has to
Oh,
stick
yeah.
her hand in to save them, and there's all those bugs.
She did
And
it
this-
wrong. She did it slowly, freaking out. Like, if I had to stick my hand in a den of roaches, I'd be like, fuck you, bitch. I'll start punching them, and then I'm like, where's the lever? Where's the lever? There it is. Pull it, and fucking stick my hand out. She was like, ew, Indy, ew.
See,
I don't know,
that would have
Fox.
been the perfect spot to have that lighter in the can of Aquanet.
Then Indy was all, "We are going to die," frowny face.
There are dead things out here.
Have you ever had like a cockroach crawl on you, Darfox? Because it's not fun.
I might have
When it
blacked
happens, you
out.
freak out.
I might have blocked any memory of that out, but I don't think it's ever happened to me. It's happened to my brother. Apparently, one night, he woke up with a roach on his face,
Oh, that's so...
which is the
God.
worst.
How many spiders do you think you've eaten in your sleep?
Yeah, don't
Is
they
that
say
true?
like you've
Do you
eaten
constantly
like
eat spiders?
4? Like you in your lifetime, you eat like at least 4.
Something like that.
I think Totoro passed out.
I've actually read where that's actually not the case. That the number of spiders that you eat in your sleep approaches 0.
I mean, I do believe that being an urban legend, that's totally something someone will make to freak somebody out.
If it happened, I wouldn't be
wonder-
surprised.
I wonder if we should move on to a new topic.
We should. Why don't we move on to the Cloud Atlas movie that's coming out,
From the Wachowskis.
and
Plus
the guy who
one
did
guy.
Run
Lana.
Lola Run.
Yeah, to me, the drawing power here, as far as like the people making the movie, is not the Wachowski brothers. It's Tom Tykwer,
Not Tom Hanks?
not Tom. Well, he's kind of the talent in front of the camera. I'm thinking more of the guys behind the camera, but definitely, I really like Tom Tykwer.
But did you see Tom Hanks with the goatee and the gold chain and the super short hair and the
Yeah, and,
awesome
like,
sideburns?
Yeah, that was kind of looking like he was from the 70s and like Studio 54 or some shit.
He looked like some sort of drug dealer to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think at some point he threw somebody off a roof.
Was that him? It might have
I
been him.
think
but-
so.
Yeah.
I think he
Very
threw
unspecific.
another Tom Hanks off a roof.
No, I don't think so. Did he?
Do you guys know anything about this thing?
That trailer was over 5 minutes long, and I have no idea what that movie is about.
Well,
So
it
do you
said it
want
was
me,
based on a book.
Do you want me to
Yeah.
tell you, like, really vaguely, or should I not even mention it?
Well,
It's just because I went over to Wikipedia and all I did was kind of read like how the structure is. Because when I was watching the trailer itself, I was like, this reminds me of like maybe that
Sucker Punch or something?
no, the Darren Aronofsky movie.
The Fountain.
Yeah, The Fountain.
Well, I know it's like a non-linear story where it's like it jumps back and forth in time.
Do you want me
Like
to
the
explain like how
story?
like that works at least?
Well, maybe
Sure.
should we talk about like what is in the trailer first, maybe a little bit?
Okay, yeah, let's talk about that first.
Yeah, well, the trailer is
a
crazy.
lot of random crazy stuff.
well,
It starts out like present day, and then there's some stuff in the past, and then there's some stuff in the future, and then there's some stuff in the way future.
Tom Hanks is like 5 different characters.
Yeah,
Probably
there's Tom
varies like
Hanks.
5 different characters.
I think there was like way future post-apocalyptic Tom Hanks with like a scar on his face and a metal eye patch.
The modern day Tom Hanks was awesome looking, like you described him earlier.
There was 2 modern day Tom Hankses.
yeah, the one with like
That's
a
right.
pussy
One
doctor
was
or something.
one was a doctor, and the other one was awesome.
Yeah, there was the doctor one that loved Halle Berry.
I get the impression from the trailer that he loves Halle Berry in every iteration.
That's what it
That's
seems
because
like.
when he first sees her, or it seems like he first saw her when he was at the office, and he was like, "Oh, I know you." Do I? I
Yeah.
don't get it.
I think it's going to be a lot of like supposed to be like a lot of history repeating itself.
I think the movie's about karma specifically, which is kind of, I don't know. Just
Yeah,
conceptually, I'm not so into that.
Yeah, I don't dig the whole. Well, and then there was a certain quote at one point. It's like we'll meet again, and I think it was something like there's life beyond this, and it's just I don't dig that. I think
Yeah,
that's something that's like way
I agree.
overplayed.
It's like well, the movie's obviously gonna speak for itself. The movie can the movie can be good and still have that stuff, but like just hearing that makes me think that all these characters are gonna be lazy and they're not gonna care about fixing their problems. Because in my next lifetime I'll get it right. This time I'm just gonna just die or whatever.
It seems like this movie is going to be like 27 hours long.
Yeah, from that trailer at least, if it's proportional to the normal length of a trailer and normal length of a movie.
The trailer is like 3 times as long as a normal trailer.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I kind of
But
wish I hadn't watched the trailer.
It showed so much, although I still have no idea what that movie is.
the further it goes on, the more kind of like
I mean, it does.
so you get a shot where people like lean off of like a bridge and dodge bullets.
Yeah,
Did
it
you
got
catch that?
more actiony.
Yeah, which I wonder if the movie's actually gonna be actiony at all.
I think it has to be with all those explosions and stuff. There's got to be some action in it, at least in the future. I don't know about the way future, but the future with like
This speculation is interesting because I actually know like how the story structure is working.
Yeah, because you totally spoiled yourself.
Well, I just wanted to check how it was gonna work, and I didn't really spoil like what any of the plot is. I just know like how it's gonna work out.
I kind of want to be surprised.
Okay, so you don't want me to tell you. That's fine.
Yeah, that's kind of what the way I was leaning in as well.
So like there's obviously Run Lola Run is a movie about different iterations of one reality, and I like the movie a lot. The movie's cool. There's also
I've never seen it.
You should watch it. It's a cool movie.
Mhm.
At the least.
Yeah.
It's not like one of the artsy smarty movies where you gotta be so hey brow. I mean it's a crazy fun movie.
What
I don't know
about
crazy fun, but like it's
Ronnie Run?
Not the same thing.
crazy. What is he running from?
I don't know. David Cross from Arrested Development and Mr. Show.
Wait, are you talking about running from the forums or some sort of Ronnie?
Ronnie, not Rodney.
No, I said Ronnie.
You thought you said Rodney too? I was being quiet
Yeah.
because I was like, why? What?
Yeah, I was gonna say what would Ronnie run from? From I don't know, from Fonanda?
Anyway,
Yep, he's running from Kananda.
Moving
Inside
on.
jokes. Should we move on from Cloud Atlas? Looks interesting. Definitely want to check it out.
yeah, I mean, like you said, X, you should definitely check out Run Lola Run. It's good stuff.
Well, the Wachowskis made Speed Racer, and that movie is pretty good.
That movie I think is actually great.
I think that movie is super underrated.
Yeah, I enjoyed that movie.
Yeah,
Like I went in with zero expectations, and I was like, hey, this is not that bad.
but then they
Well,
also
yeah.
made Matrix Revelations.
You know, I like Revelations more than Reloaded. Am I crazy?
Yes, I like Reloaded better.
I like the mech
Kinda
fights
equally
in
bad.
Revolution.
The chase scene in Reloaded is like the best chase scene ever.
Oh, the highway.
Yeah.
That was good. But like
Wait, did I say Revelation and not Revolutions?
I don't know, you said something.
the third Matrix movie, Matrix 3.
Matrix Part 3.
Yeah.
Matrix the Third.
The thing is that Part 2 was a lot worse with the CGI.
I like
Yeah.
the Animatrix.
Did you say
I
the
like
Animatrix?
I like some of the
Yeah.
Animatrix.
Yeah, some of them are kind of boring. A few
I
of
like
them
the
are actually
CG
really good.
one.
Which is the CG one? Oh, the Square Enix
That's the
one?
first one.
That's the
Yeah,
oh,
that was
fuck.
the one made by Squeenix, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah,
I forgot what it was called. Like I forgot a lot of stuff.
the last flight of the.
Oh, you're right. You're right. She was trying to deliver
Something.
a message, and she
I
just
think it's
barely
like
did it at
last
the
flight
end.
of the Phoenix or some shit.
I don't think it was
I
Phoenix,
have
but you're right.
no idea.
There
We
was
should probably
one
move on.
by Peter Chung
Yeah.
that was shitty, boring.
Yeah, I kind of take the XKCD approach to that. It's like, man, that first movie was really good. It's too bad they didn't make any sequels.
Except it did.
Well, speaking of like trilogies, The Hobbit is now going to be a trilogy, right, X?
It is. It was confirmed, I think, today by Peter Jackson. Instead of being 2 movies as originally planned, 3.
So
Well,
was
could-
sorry, go ahead.
They
what I
took
was gonna, I'm sorry.
one
go ahead.
book took one book and made it into 3, and previously they took 3 books and made it into 3 movies.
Yeah, well, and I think what originally was going to happen was like this first movie was going to be the vast majority of the book, and then they were going to like maybe do like the Battle of Five Armies in the second movie, and then continue on to the end, and then do like almost all new material for the rest of the movie.
Well, wasn't it going to be based on like the notes or whatever that he released later?
I don't know why they would do that, because I mean, The Hobbit was the first thing that he wrote in that. It was the first thing that he wrote in that universe.
So, like, what's been the general reaction to do this? Like, did he when he announced it, was he apologizing and saying, "Yeah, sorry, the studio wants more movies," or was he like, "We have a creative vision that we're confident we're going to make awesome trilogy, all of this"?
I think he said that you don't know what you have until after you're done filming, and there was so much footage that they decided to make 3 movies.
That's funny.
I
Okay.
think it's going to be super drawn out and slow and horribly paced.
We'll have to see until we see it.
I think both
You will
Kill Bill
know.
movies are cool, and that was supposedly going to be one movie, right?
Yeah, it was gonna be like one 5-hour movie though.
Yeah, that was intended to be one movie. Watched back to back.
I mean, he kind of split it up and aired and put it out of order.
I'm fine with any kind of new material, just so long as Christopher Tolkien was involved in it.
Isn't he 100% against all the Lord of the Rings movies?
I don't think so, but I could be wrong. I don't remember. That's trying to herd cast, trying to remember all that stuff, like who's for it, who's against it, because they got it from the person who had originally optioned the movie back in the 70s, Saul Zaentz.
I'm sure he was okay with it when he got the paychecks.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm not a Lord of the Rings guy, so I was never super invested in it, but I think the movies are really cool. So, more of those, of that quality, I'm down. Full feature of that quality.
I'll be fine with it if, especially if they get into some of the stuff that they don't get into with Lord of the Rings, like Tom Bombadil and kind of all that stuff that they had to kick from cut from the first movie.
Bimbo Baggins.
They also announced the title of the new X-Men movie.
Did they, or is this still rumor territory?
I think it might be slightly rumor, I guess.
Let's put the disclaimer. We're not 100% sure, but it seems like...
Well, it's because it's being reported from a Russian website said this, so it's like...
StarkIndustries.ru.
Yeah,
well,
it's
also on Geekscape.
But
it's on other sites too.
But Geekscape.net sourced the StarkIndustries.ru.
That's true.
But what is the title? It's
X-Men Days of Future Past, which is based on a storyline from the 80s, I believe.
Yeah, it's during John Byrne's run.
So, can you explain what this storyline is?
Go for it, Totoro.
Well, it's definitely two of the... It's two iconic issues 141 and 142, but basically I'll just sum it up with what is on the cover of issue number 142, where it just simply says, in this issue, everybody dies.
The cover has Wolverine and someone, and then there's
I think it's Kitty Pryde.
And then there's a thing behind them saying who's been killed already, and it's Cyclops killed, Colossus apprehended, Storm apprehended, Nightcrawler killed, Angel killed, Iceman killed, Beast killed. So everyone dies.
And then the second issue just has the one that says in this issue everybody dies, has Wolverine getting blown away by a Sentinel.
But that one killing me would just regenerate.
That's the problem with white comics, because they're written by different people all the time. So who knows what's canon as far as how powerful his regenerative abilities are.
Japanese comics do this too.
It's been established that if he has one cell living, it will regenerate his entire body.
So what happens if you cut him in half? Will that regenerate into two?
And should if he loses a hair, that hair should regenerate an entire body. So there should be billions of Wolverines at this point.
Well, he never loses hair. That's the problem.
Well, if this title is true, I think it's just interesting that they're not doing a sequel to First Class. Then
it is the sequel. This is the sequel to First Class. They're probably going to take liberties with the story and not have Wolverine in it, and have Magneto be the main character.
I bet they do get Hugh Jackman.
That'd be cool, but I don't know. It would kind of screw up the whole storyline if they have him in it with everyone else. Because if it takes place at the same time period, which it kind of has to if they have Michael Fassbender, because they're not supposed to know each other when the other movies came out.
The continuity in the X-Men movies are all fucked up, though. They're really messed up.
Well, and I partially blame that on the studio.
Well, yeah. But I guess they're still making a Deadpool movie, right?
Are they with Ryan Reynolds?
I think so. He's kind of a perfect Deadpool. Other than Nolan North, of course. Who does the voice of Deadpool in the games.
What's Nathan Fillion, isn't he the perfect Deadpool?
No.
I thought he was the Green Lantern.
He is.
Ryan Reynolds is also Green Lantern.
What about Guy Gardner? Isn't he the perfect Deadpool?
I'm not talking about the movies. I'm talking about like some of the animated stuff.
The animated movies? Nathan Fillion was also what's his face in the Wonder Woman movie, animated movie.
Oh no, Steve Trevor.
That sounds right.
I think I nailed that. I'm not 100% sure though.
Wait,
Good job.
Isn't he like Batman in some of the new ones?
I don't think so. I think there was a Baldwin that played Batman.
Hopefully it was Adam and not one of the other Baldwins. The Baldwin that's not
Might have been
Baldwin brothers.
Stephen. I think it was Stephen Baldwin.
Ricardo Baldwin.
I don't think it was Billy Baldwin. From Biodome. His best movie.
That was Steven.
Are you sure?
I think that's
sure.
Steven.
Okay,
That's
then.
Steven.
I don't know how
We
many
should
there
probably
are.
move on. What about what Kojima said? X, you want to bring this up?
Read the quote.
Reed. He said you should not try to tell stories in games because he played a Valve game for the first time ever. It's an exact quote, right?
Verbatim.
Sigh. It's very difficult to implement a storyline into an interactive game. I actually think we shouldn't do that. I am not trying to tell a story. That is the first part of the quote. Do you want me to read the second part, or do you want to about that
Yeah,
first?
because I think it's important.
You are inside a story, an environment, and acting as a certain character. And what that character is feeling inside the environment is what I want players to feel as they play the game. Within the environment, I want players to not only have a fun and exhilarating experience, but also think about many different things. That's my concept.
Now, raise your hand if that sounds like telling a story.
It sounds like telling a story, but not the way he tells the stories in games.
It sounds like exactly how he tells stories. Cause
No, it isn't.
he wants you to feel what the character's feeling. Like Gordon Freeman and Shell are shells.
They're going through an environment, and you are going through that environment, and you are experiencing the stuff.
Yeah, you are the guy. Like that. That's it's like Oblivion. You're supposed to be the character, but you're not sort of filling into the role of a character that pre-exists in the world.
But neither is what he does with his cutscenes.
Well, hopefully through the cutscenes and to the gameplay.
He's just telling you a story with cutscenes. It's like a movie. It's like silent films, how they would have you read with, they'd pop up and then you have to read what's going on.
Yeah,
it's like that.
Pedals.
Yeah, it's like that, but with movies in games. That's what cutscenes are.
I think even a movie, regardless of what movie, can make you feel what the character's feeling. And I think he's trying to explain like a philosophical state of mind of, especially for him, where he has a bunch of cutscenes in his games, right? So people say, oh, if I'm going to emulate Kojima, we need hella cutscenes. Well, it's not really about that. It's more about placing the person in the character's foots, right? Feet.
Foots.
Shoes.
Footses.
Flip-flops.
Crocs.
It's because I can't express this. Like,
I would say the only scene where I think he achieves that is massive, gigantic spoiler for Metal Gear Solid 4. You guys have been warned. It's at the end of it in the microwave hallway scene.
And what of the scene in Metal Gear Solid 1 where the torture scene, or Metal Gear Solid 3 where you're walking through the river and you encounter every single person you killed during the game. There's a boss fight in Metal Gear Solid 3 where the whole boss fight is having to wade through the zombies of people you killed, and if you didn't kill anybody, then the boss fight is like 2 minutes long because there's no zombies you gotta wade through. But if you killed like a lot of people, then that boss fight lasts like 30 minutes.
I did not play that.
Well, you are not a good person.
I think I got up to the end. The end is the old guy, right? That will die if you don't play the game for a couple days or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I got up to.
He's a sniper.
Yeah, that's
did you actually try playing the sniper segment, or did you like, I don't feel like playing anymore?
I think I saved it and was planning on going back, then I just never went back.
If you go back now, he'll be dead, though.
I know he will. But also, that game was super boring.
So, I just saw the video where he is talking about this, and this is all out of context, because what he's saying is you shouldn't tell a story. He's just saying with lots of plot twists and turns. He doesn't want to just convey plot lines. He's saying it's much more important in video games that like you emphasize and like show the feeling of what the characters are going through. Like that is the important part, not necessarily like complex storylines and plot twists and turns like that. The important thing is to understand how the characters are feeling, and that should be what you focus on. And storylines themselves can be pretty simple.
In fact, they're better when they're simple.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. Yeah. Like, I saw the entire video.
But the problem is, his storylines are not simple.
I think this is him doing damage control in a sense, because people think he's an maniac.
Well, I mean, he's holding an iPhone and picture of himself on it. Nope. I think that is, in context, that is his phone. This out. I'll be selling these.
Well, this thing was taken from this thing called Critical Path, and it's this dynamic interview archive, and it looks like it has a bunch of like just like game designers and like developers just like, you know, answering questions and giving their thoughts on a lot of stuff.
So it's possible, it's entirely possible that he was asked a question that happened to give him an answer like that.
But like, I don't think he's saying stories, you know, don't tell stories, because that doesn't make any sense. He's saying that don't focus on, you know,
don't focus on trying to make a super complex story. Focus on the characters and making you connect with the story that they're telling.
Exactly.
He wants
in other
you
words,
engaging.
In other words, games should be the story, not tell a story.
Exactly. That's exactly X. Good job.
Kind of like the Valve method.
No, because in the Valve method, you are the character. You don't emphasize with the character.
The game is the story. They don't tell it. You experience it.
I have issues with that because, in my opinion, when you play a Valve game, you still see the cutscenes. You just can't skip them.
Depends on the cutscene or on the game. Like in Half-Life 2, I totally agree with you. In Portal, I do not.
In Portal 1, definitely not. Portal 1 was definitely interesting in that way. Portal 2 falls back into, not as much as Half-Life 2, but still falls into that thing where, even especially in Portal 2, sometimes you're like nailed to the floor and you're watching some complex animation. I mean,
yeah.
But the thing is that, like, would you like every single game to be like Portal 1? Because Portal 1 was like a surprise, right?
Yes, I want every game to be Portal. Every single one.
X really likes Portal.
I like Portal.
Well, in quality or in the exact same story?
Well, if it was all the exact same story, why wouldn't I just play Portal over and over? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, so you wouldn't like that.
I've only played through Portal 1 twice.
Really? I think I've done it like 3 or 4 times.
And actually, technically, I only played through it once because the first time I just watched my brother play through it all.
The first time I played through it, my friend played through it and he used cheat codes. Well, we heard all those sound bites, so it was funny.
Well, I guess like the first time I played it, when I watched my brother play through it, I was kind of solving the puzzle. I was like, no, put the portal there and there. And he was like, what? I said, do it there and there. And then he would do it. So I kind of played it, but I indirectly played it.
You should have just taken the control from him. That's frustrating.
But no, he was listening. Yeah, Portal is so good.
My final thoughts is that Kojima's a smart guy.
My final thought is he has a cell phone with a picture of himself on it.
I would, if you want to see this for yourself, go to criticalpathproject.com. That's where I saw the video. I just think it seems like all this like news and reporting, it's kind of like, you know, they're just saying, oh, Kojima, said stories are important. They're blowing it out of proportion.
Yeah, taking it out of context.
But it gets doubled when sometimes the article blows it out of proportion, and then sometimes when the message board like NeoGAF post it, they blow it further out of proportion with their thread title.
Yeah, when I first saw it, it was on NeoGAF.
Yeah, me too. Like on NeoGAF right now, there's a thread about Michael Pachter saying sometimes I add 2 plus 2 and get 7, but I still add 2 plus 2, and people are like going crazy. And I haven't read what he actually said, but I'm pretty sure it's not as stupid as it sounds.
I'm pretty sure sometimes he's just saying he makes mistakes.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's all he's saying.
Yep. So moving right along. Anyone watching the Olympics?
Nope.
Actually, yeah, I'm watching it right now. I just have something on TV on mute just so I could look at something.
I'm just bringing this up because X wants to bring up something.
The laser pistols. Laser guns.
Wait, which event is this with?
I know it's in the decathlon where you have
no, it's not the decathlon.
The pentathlon, and where you have to fight forward and then swim and then make a horse jump.
Is it a lightsaber though?
No, I think it's an actual sword.
Bummer.
No, it's the events are it's fencing, it's swimming, it's like riding a horse. and then shooting. I forget what the fifth one is.
You have to shoot a laser pistol, and then
I can only ever remember what
cross-country
the
run.
biathlon is.
Cross-country run.
My question was that they've always held this with regular guns right
so.
before this. Wouldn't it completely change the event to not have like the feedback or recoil? Isn't that what makes shooting guns hard or most hard?
I think they've got to have
I don't
some sort
think
of recoil built into it.
Like a mechanism that just snaps back and forth?
Yeah.
Well, but I think is it actually like you take multiple shots, or is it just one shot?
I think it's multiple. I think you have to take like 5 shots.
Even with one shot, I hear recoil effects a lot. I don't know. I've never shot a gun, but I've spoken to police officers like at school and shit. Work day.
You'll be
right?
like, hey, you ever shoot anybody?
Well, I was in JRTC, and a lot of times former, students from the program would come back, and they're now soldiers or police officers. And one guy specifically, like, made sure to tell us that, like, the first time you pick up a handgun, you could be like 5 feet away from me, and you'd miss every single shot you try to shoot at me. Supposedly, he's a cop. He could be lying.
I think he was lying so that you wouldn't try to shoot him.
Yeah. Well, I remember the first time that I actually fired a gun, and
A handgun.
it
Happened.
it definitely didn't like recoil and feel as weird as I thought it was going to.
But a handgun? I'm sorry, I didn't hear if you rectified.
It was a couple of them were handguns. There was like a large rifle, like a 30-08 and an AK-47.
Because rifles, even though I assume they have more recoil, they're usually easier to handle because you put them on your shoulder and stuff like that. But it's a lot harder to be a good shot with a handgun, is what I hear. I'm completely talking out of my ass, but I'm just talking conjecture.
I don't know.
I was a pretty good shot with a slingshot.
That's the only time that I've ever fired a weapon, and if everything goes to plan, that will be the only time that I ever fire a weapon. I'm not into guns, so it's just like, I just felt like it was one of those things. It was like, okay, did it, done, okay, I don't have to do it again.
I love guns, but like in movies and in video games and stuff, I couldn't care less if all of them were gun controlled to hell.
When I was 11, my grandpa and uncle and cousin took me to this firing range and had me shoot my grandpa's hunting rifle, and I shot it, and it like crumpled me to the ground. Well, not really. It pushed me back though a lot.
You said you were 11?
Yeah.
I think I was like 22 at the time, so this was 9-10 years ago.
I was 11.
I have no desire to fire a gun ever. Thank you.
It's like I was. Well, the reason why I went out and did it was that it was something that guns are an interest that my father-in-law has, and I was just trying to kind of bond with him over something that he had interest in. And
then you were like, never again.
And I'm like, well, and it's not like, it's not like I'm a horrible shot. I shot just fine, but and I don't want to get like overtly political or anything, but it's like I had that moment where, it was like, this does not line up with what I believe in. So it's like, I've since then I've stuck with my convictions. We don't have any weapons in the house that are, you can fire. I definitely keep it to all blunt, force objects.
But would you fire a laser pistol?
In the Olympics, I would fire a laser pistol.
Awesome.
I think the laser pistol is just like within the pentathlon, like you said.
The pentathlon was actually invented in 1912 as a way of testing the skills required by a soldier.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of the biathlon, which is actually in the Winter Olympics.
But isn't that just 2 things?
That makes a lot of sense what you said, X, because like a lot like riding a horse and being able to fence, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it was fencing, pistol shooting, freestyle swimming, show jumping on a horse, and cross-country running.
Well, and with the biathlon, I think it's cross-country skiing and shooting a rifle. So it's like a very, like something you would do if you were, in a Scandinavian country or something. Darfox
had a pretty great idea of how he would run the pentathlon.
Are you talking about my card game?
Yes.
So all these events would be things you hold in your deck, and you had to go through like basically an obstacle course. And at any time you could pull these events out and use them only once, but at your discretion. So you could be in the swimming part and take out your gun and shoot somebody and get ahead of them.
Or shoot their horse so they can't finish.
Yeah, I mean that'd be kind of fun.
But it's a laser gun.
Right, I mean,
So you shoot them in the eyes and blind them.
well, like I've seen what's the one you call it? Starship Troopers. They had like that stunning system where people get tased when they get shot with
Yep.
by the fake ammo.
Although there was that section in it where it was real ammo, and then the guy's helmet was malfunctioning.
And then he got his brains blown out, and then he goes, medic, and I'm like, it's too late, buddy.
And then he was like, "Are you authorized to repair this man's helmet?"
No, sir.
Wait, well, actually, yeah, the drill sergeant says something as the camera's panning out. I think he says, Rico, you are relieved of your command. Like right on the spot.
In
Okay,
a
okay.
training exercise. So
Yeah.
that is why Starship Troopers are great.
Yeah, the movie's fantastic. I want to watch it again.
Just moved on from laser pistols. I guess this is a good time as any for Darfox to bring up fanboys.
Right. So when they told me I was going to be in the podcast, Mr. X said I had to come up with all the topics we were going to talk about. I guess I got lazy and I came up with one. And so it actually is kind of interesting that we talked about Hideo Kojima because I want to talk about like fandom and how fandom sometimes turns you crazy a little bit, and sometimes it might turn you into it might set you up for disappointment. For example, this happened to X. X had friends who were way into anime, and then they tried to get him into anime, and he did not like the animes at all.
It was
So
dumb.
yeah, so like situations where you try to like, hopefully you don't push this upon your friend, but like you might recommend something to your friend, and they see it in a completely different light that you see it. It's like they're looking at two different things. It's amazing. It's very sad.
Or what about like apologists for things that are bad because they're such giant fanboys for it?
Well, yeah, that happens all the time, especially like in like video
Video games.
games and like consoles.
Or
This is a
like
console.
you guys probably would have expected me to be a Prometheus apologist,
Exactly.
going in.
That's a very good point.
but I am not.
Or I would expect you to jump off a building or something once you realize it was bad.
No, that movie is just awful though.
Thank goodness you didn't. I'm glad you're still here with us.
But like I really love Company of Heroes, and I pimp that shit all the time on Mumble, and I even buy copies when it goes on sale for like Mumble members.
Yeah,
And now a lot of people are playing it.
exactly. It could go both ways. You had Vindication there where it took a while actually, but now there's kind of like a Company of Heroes kind of fever going on, and it's like your dream come true or something.
Yes, I'm having the time of my life, except when Totoro cheats and uses an expert computer.
Hey,
Bastard.
you clicked the ready set ready.
That wasn't as bad as what happened last night. There was a horrible rage fest.
Oh yeah, that was great.
we don't really have to get the details, but it dealt with like players dropping out, and then the player getting replaced by AI, and the AI being a lot better than the player. So
Yeah, like we need more people. Join Mumble and come play Company of Heroes.
Are
with
you
us.
guys
We don't
are you
have
talking about Kenzo again?
No, well, maybe. He didn't quit.
It was a Kenzo played really really well, but I think the reason he won was because of the AI.
Yeah, that was what I was arguing with. I don't care that they won. I was just arguing that they won because of AI. But it's because we need more people to play, and we need more people to play as the Axis specifically.
But
Not a
isn't
lot
there
of us
like
play
15
as the.
Isn't there like 15 people in Mumble now that are on the server that play the game?
Yeah, and a lot of people are still better at playing as the Allies than the Axis.
Well, come and play with the 15 people in Mumble. Everyone
Yes.
listening.
Yes, exactly. Please.
To be clear, because Kenzo might hear this in the future, we were ramming Kenzo into the ground from the very beginning of the match, and he somehow stayed in the game the whole time. He was extremely resilient in that match. That's why he felt like so proud at the end when he actually won.
Yeah, he was raging the entire match because we just kept bombing him. It was great.
Did he actually win?
Yeah, they won.
His team won, but it was because Cross and
Great
White
White
North, who they're playing new at the game, they weren't playing very well, right? At least compared to like Kenzo and Dakazu and people like that. So when they dropped, like the AI gave them like a huge boost. It's like as soon as they dropped, like their team started doing way better.
Yeah. But
Aren't we supposed to be talking about fame or something?
Well,
How I
they-
want to punch Ridley Scott in the face.
It's related, I think.
And I think Dakazu, if Company Heroes 2 comes out and it's a complete, travesty, I think Dakazu will be the first one to say that it's fucked up.
Yeah, I mean,
Diablo
like,
3 happened.
Well, there's also
Diablo
the fandom
3
where you like something so much that if they change any little thing about the sequel, that you rage and rage and rage.
It goes both ways.
It could be a change. It could be a
Diablo
change
3.
It could be a change that improves things, but because it's a change at all, some fans will say it's bad.
Yeah, Dakazu.
Well, Diablo 3 is a good thing for that, right? But for me, it's not that so much I was a fan of, like, Diablo 2. Just, like, a lot of, like, some of the changes they've made throughout, like, the Diablo-type games, like, in Titan Quest. We already went into this, but, like, yeah, I like those changes better, and the changes that they made to Diablo 3, I felt they were not, like, as good, or they kind of, like, made it not as interesting for me.
Yeah, but you could be sensible about it. Like, I think you still enjoyed a lot of Diablo 3.
We did, and, unfortunately, we're not playing anymore. Kind of burned ourselves out. That's, like, a different discussion. Do you have anything, Totoro, that you're like, oh man, I'm OMG fan?
Well, I mean, there are definitely. It's actually kind of funny that you bring that up. Mrs. Totoro was talking to me kind of when I was watching Kung Fu Hustle a little bit about. She came across something on the internet and it was like, are you this type of geek? And it went through some of these things, and there were a few things where I was like, yeah, I exhibit the symptoms of this and this, and she got down to like, I think the classic one is like, Star Wars geeks versus Star Trek geeks.
Stargate is better than both.
But no, it's not.
Oh man, battle.
Nah.
No, I actually read like one of the Stargate books after the movie came out, but before any of like the shows had started up. So, but it's like I definitely, there are some times when I feel like sitting down and watching Star Trek. I don't feel the competition or the vitriol between the two camps of fandom. But there are times that I want to sit down and watch Empire Strikes Back. There's sometimes I want to sit down and watch Star Trek 4.
There's times when you want to watch episode 1. Right?
And those are usually the times that I have had a little bit too much to drink and feel like cutting myself or something. That's the only reason.
No, I think you've had too much to drink, and then you're like, it wasn't that bad, and I'll just check it out. And then 5 minutes in, you're like, oh god, why?
You know, it can be hard when you're a fan of something, trying to get someone to watch what you're a fan of if it starts out kind of slow, because people can give up on it, and then you have to try to keep pushing them to keep watching it, and then they're like, no.
Yeah, that happened to me with Firefly. I tried to watch the first the pilot of Firefly, I don't know how many times. It must have been like 4 or 5 times, and I couldn't get past the first half hour.
That happened to me. I was trying to get my brother to watch Supernatural, and it took him way too long to get past the first season, but then he finally did, and then he ended up really liking it, because from season 2 on, that show is great.
Well, just today and yesterday, I've been playing a PlayStation 1 emulator, and Kenzo sent me a link to download Suikoden, which is a JRPG from PlayStation 1. And
I'm assuming this link was on the PlayStation Store?
Yeah.
Yes.
And in this
emulator, and you were playing it on your PSP or PS3?
So like he basically did the same thing. He said, so Suikoden 1 isn't so hot. Like, it's fine, but it's relatively short, but you should play Suikoden 2. But because I generally know Kenzo's taste and we usually agree on most stuff, then I'm pretty sure I'm going to play through all of it and then play part 2.
See, I'm glad you just brought Kenzo up, because I have this problem with Kenzo all the time. Kenzo will recommend things to me, and I would say about half and half. Half the time, he enthusiastically recommends me something, and then I'm just let down because it just doesn't live up. Or the other half of the time, it lives
Welcome
up.
to the Kenzo
I really
cast.
enjoy it. It's just Community. Community, I really enjoyed. Adventure Time.
Community is pretty good.
Adventure Time, I really enjoyed. But other things like Star Driver, I did not end up liking that ultimately.
I still haven't seen that.
And then Maison Ikkoku, which is a manga that Kenzo's it's my favorite Rumiko Takahashi manga. Rumiko Takahashi is the person who made Inuyasha.
Ranma.
That's her. Yeah, Inuyasha is the most popular one here the States. But so anyway, I saw that manga and I was like, I didn't like it. So it's about half and half with me and Kenzo. I always tell him you hype things up too much because he's excited about it. He wants me to like share his enthusiasm, but it backfires sometimes.
The thing with Kenzo is that I would say he's pretty selective about things he likes, especially with anime. Like he's very critical of like very fabricated anime, like this is to me, girls, I'm your father, like stuff that's like really shitty, right? So
That's
I guess
your favorite.
I guess maybe that when he finally finds something that's good, like he's super excited about it because he waits for all that shit to get to it.
Well, and I can really respect that because I mean, there's no way that you're going to get someone else into something that you like if you're like, yeah, this was okay, or if you downplay it. I want someone to come to me with something and say, hey man, this is really cool, this is really awesome, I really liked it, I think you will too.
I don't know, because then sometimes they're like, oh, it's so good, it's really great, and then when you don't share your opinion, because ultimately it's your opinion against theirs, if you don't share it and then you're disappointed, then you're just like, dude, I did not agree, you oversold this.
Well, but I think that's going to happen no matter what. I mean, no two people are going to have exactly the same taste on anything or on everything.
I just think it's better if you just undersell it all. You're like, oh yeah, it's good. Like,
but if you undersell it, you're not gonna check it out because there's a billion other things you could check out.
Well, I understand what Totoro is saying in that sense, but I'm saying like if you just don't oversell it. I'm really against overselling things.
I just also recently tried to get my brother to watch Doctor Who. He made it 3 episodes in and then quit. But then he started watching Breaking Bad, so I can't really blame him for dropping Doctor Who for Breaking Bad. But how do I get him to go back to Doctor Who, knowing that first season is kind of bad?
Is it necessary though?
I kind of like that first season.
That season is stupid.
Are you talking about like way, way, way back in the beginning?
No, the 2005.
No, the Eccleston.
Yeah.
The reboot.
It's about, it has like half the episodes are about like farting trash cans.
Are You My Mummy?
That's the
Did
good
he at least
episode.
get to Are You My Mummy?
No, he did not. Like he got to episode 3.
You guys are not making me want to watch Doctor Who at all.
But there is a couple good episodes in that first season, and then the next season on is great.
Well, and I find that, especially with something like Doctor Who, you don't have to necessarily start at the beginning.
Yeah, and I kind of just wanted to jump straight to the Tenant.
So, yeah, well, I was, it's like when I want to introduce someone to Doctor Who, the first episode that I show them is Blink.
Yeah, but
I just jump right there because that usually gets them in, and then they usually want to see more after that.
Yeah, that's a really good episode.
Did you know that when I started watching Star Trek TNG, I saw the first episode and then I jumped to the third season because I knew the first 2 seasons were kind of poopy. And somebody
right. Those 2 seasons are awful.
Somebody else on this podcast sat through all of them, and they ended up hating Star Trek and being a bad person.
The Star Trek is super boring. You should not watch that.
I watched all of it except for the first 2 seasons. I'm gonna watch the first 2 seasons eventually when I buy them on Blu-ray.
I still haven't finished it. I'm still at like season 6, I think.
If you're gonna watch Star Trek for the first time, I would suggest you start with Voyager. It's a lot easier to get into.
No, just watch Enterprise. Enterprise is so good.
This is so weird.
I remember when you started watching Enterprise, you're like, I don't know about this. The first couple ones.
No, I think he liked
Enterprise
it from the beginning.
is great.
I think he watched the first episode. I think he watched it from the first episode, and he was like, "This is my first Star Trek." I recall it be like something weird like that.
No, I said it was like the first Star Trek that I've liked.
Yeah.
I used to watch the original series when I was a kid with my dad, and then I remember watching the first episode of Next Gen the first time it aired on TV.
Yeah, my family was one of those families, and if I can ever get my brother on, I'm pretty sure that he will corroborate this. There were very few like TV shows that he, myself, my mom and dad would like all sit down and kind of watch together. I don't know how much my mom would like pay attention to it, but Star Trek: The Next Generation was like one of the only shows that we would like sit down and watch together every week. It was like, okay, Star Trek's on, we're gonna watch it.
But it's so boring, and none of the characters change, and there's no character development, and it's all dumb.
But it was like it was. I was when did it start? 87.
Something like that.
You
I was in
actually,
I was like
first
six,
grade or
I was like six at
something,
the
or
time.
sixth kindergarten maybe.
you could say similar things about Law and Order or any of those, detective.
Yeah.
I do say the same thing about those. Those shows are just garbage.
It's a different mindset. It's like these characters are generally pretty cemented. Sometimes
Also,
they grow,
Burn Notice.
they grow a bit, but like it's more about
Well, Burn Notice, they're supposed to be like they have like the caper of the week, but then they also have the overarching storyline for the season. And the
Which
problem
is
with
ultimately
Bullshit.
meaningless usually.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was the problem. It was like at the beginning it was like really interesting, but after like when they got to their third season, ultimately those storylines didn't lead to any major changes.
And every episode was exactly the same. It would start out with a little bit of the overarching story, just like 5 minutes. And then there was a case of the week, which would have them making a plan, the plan failing and having to go to plan B, and then everything works out. And then in the last 5 minutes, there would be a little bit more of the overarching story. Every episode.
Well, that's just like a house. They come in. There's something wrong with someone. And the first like minute and a half of House is always fun because you're trying to figure out who the person who's going to be sick is. And then it's like, they bring him in, they nearly kill him, and then they try something else, and they start to get better for a minute, but then they get drastically worse, and then you wait for like the last 5 minutes. Literally every time I would watch that show, I would look and see, every time they would, try something new, it's look at the clock, and if it was, not close to the end of the show, it's like, oh, well, this isn't going to work.
Well, we were talking about being fans, and Bruce Campbell is on Burn Notice, and I'm a huge Bruce Campbell fan. So I guess I would be a little bit more apologetic. Though season 3, I stopped watching Burn Notice until I caught up on it like way later.
That's one of the reasons why I like Supernatural and Doctor Who is because there's like case of the week, just episode or monster of the week, but it's not predictable. I mean, Supernatural starts out and it's very formulaic and predictable, but then at season 2 it gets amazing, and you never can really tell what's going to happen. And the same goes for Doctor Who. I like TV shows that keep you guessing.
Actually, this week's Entertainment Weekly, we just got that over the weekend. So it may have been last week's, but whatever. But it has the top 25 cult TV shows of all time.
Is that the one with Doctor Who on the cover?
Doctor Who's on the cover. Or Matt Smith is on the cover. So, but one of them was one of the top 25 cult TV shows of all time was Supernatural.
Because that's great. I bet also Buffy, Angel were on there as well.
Buffy was, Angel was not. Buffy was actually number 1.
Really?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by that, but then again, I've not watched it yet.
Actually, I've seen a lot of lists of like the top 50 greatest TV shows of all time, and Buffy is usually top 3. Like there was a list like Empire did, and Buffy was put above like The Wire. It was I think number 2.
I don't know if I'll ever go back and watch it though. Like
you should. It's so good,
well,
except for the first season, which is so bad.
You know what? I've seen the first couple seasons, but this has nothing to do with Buffy the show. This is
it because you don't like the way Sarah Michelle Gellar looks? No,
this is an association because there was a girl in college I used to like that was totally into Buffy, and then I've since soured on her. So like I just associated Buffy with her.
Well, then you should watch Angel. Angel's a better show.
Is she like that even more? So
crap.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
An episode of Angel that has puppets, where Angel gets turned into a puppet.
You guys have this thing where even if like whatever is good, you just associate it with something bad and it just sours you on that.
Yeah, like actually, I'm not gonna say what I just said because it would be a total bummer and bum all of you out. So I'm not gonna say it.
No, I want to hear. I just talked about Buffy.
No, it's not.
I think
it's not funny.
I think I know what.
Oh wait, I know what
about.
Okay.
I have an idea, but I don't know.
Yeah, no.
What do you guys think it is?
No, I don't want to mention it. I don't want to mention it because I think I know what it is, and I don't want to.
It involves Halo 3.
Yes, I don't. Yes, I know the story, and we're not going to get into this.
I don't, but I'm fine with being a mystery.
I'll tell you later.
You don't have to if it's something weird.
No, you can tell Darfox off air, okay? Off air.
Yeah. I'm glad I didn't mention it because that would have totally bummed everyone out, and now everyone that's listening is going to be like, what is it?
Yeah, well, that's exactly. Let's make up a story to replace it. He was playing Halo 3, and then his dog came in and he pet his dog. So now when he thinks of his dog, he thinks of Halo 3.
I think that's much better than what the reality is. So.
Sure, let's go with that.
Yeah, because now people listening to the podcast aren't left in the air. They know what's associative.
Petting the dog, Halo 3.
I will say that there was a post on the forums a long time ago that they said like gaming memories, and I posted it in
Yeah,
there.
okay, so if you want to look it up, you can look it up on the forums at forums.geekbox.net.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I think I had the post after that, and it was just it was that gif of Grandpa Simpson walking in and seeing Bart at the brothel and then walking right back
I
out.
pretty much killed the thread. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like,
Anything else about fandom?
God, I think there's a lot of stuff about it, and it's,
You guys ever seen the movie Fanboys?
Yeah, I saw that.
yes, love that movie.
No.
Love that movie. I think it's
I've seen the movie
hilarious.
Sidekick.
Let's explain it to Darfox.
It's about these fanboys. They want to go and see episode 1 before it's out because one of the guys has brain cancer.
He has some sort of cancer and he's going to
Maybe
die.
leukemia.
Yeah, I recall.
Yeah, it's,
I can recall.
some
I've never
sort
seen it, but I know what the movie's about. It's like a road trip movie.
Yes.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
That movie had like a really hard time coming out because I know that at one point they couldn't get. I mean, I think they had shot it like years before it actually came out, like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, and then they cut out the whole cancer storyline, and then people raged, so they put it back in.
Why did they cut it out in the first place?
Because it was a bummer.
It was a downer.
Well, sometimes life is a downer, just like the original ending of like Underdogs, which I really wish they kept in. I love bringing this up on the podcast because...
Or the original...
Wait, Underdogs.
Have you guys seen The Descent?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, the one
You know
about
the original-
the monster things on the ground.
The
Yeah,
cave divers.
Yeah, the cave divers, and they get stuck there, and then they're monsters, yeah.
Did you guys see the U.S. ending or the original ending?
I don't
think I've seen
remember.
both of them, but I don't remember which one is which.
I've never seen
We're
it.
just going to spoil this, okay?
No, I don't want to spoil
Yeah,
it.
it's fine.
Because it's one of the best...
Well, I've never heard of it.
It's like the best horror...
This is the first I've ever heard
It's the
of
best horror movie of like the past decade.
Yeah, but
Not counting The Cabin in the Woods,
Yeah.
which is more of a comedy.
But the ending I recall is just regular horror movie stuff where like, oh, something happens, the end.
No.
All right, we can talk about it later. We're not going to spoil it then.
Okay.
Well, I will talk about the...
Yes, I mean, it's
I'll
fine.
talk about the Underdog one. The Vince Vaughn Dodgeball.
Oh, Dodgeball.
Wait, was it
Okay.
called Dodgeball?
It's Dodgeball
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Underdog
Yeah,
story.
okay. So in that...
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge
So
a ball.
at the end, Vince Vaughn is doing a one-on-one against Ben Stiller, and that's the end. In the original ending, they lose.
Like Kingpins.
Like Ben Stiller hits him with the ball, and then Ben Stiller is like, yeah, in slow motion with his team, and then it's like the end. Which I thought was hilarious.
Well, the original ending to Return of the Jedi was Lando Calrissian was supposed to die, and the Millennium Falcon was going to blow up in the
Yeah, I
Death
heard
Star.
that.
And Luke turned to the dark side and killed Vader and everyone else. I just made that up.
I was going to say, I don't know about
And then he
that.
went
the-
back to Hoth and killed all the Ewoks.
And ate them.
Hoth
Ewoks.
on the Ewoks.
Fanboy rage.
You just broke my mind.
It's in the extended
Well,
fiction.
you see, Darfox, it's because that the Ewoks live on the forest
You are
moon of
horrible,
Endor.
Totoro.
In the extended fiction, didn't Luke go dark side at some point?
Luke.
No, I don't think he did, but I know that one of...
Was it a Luke clone?
Extended fiction.
No, I don't think it was. I think that I've read very little of the extended fiction, like maybe 1 or 2 novels, but I have read like Wikipedia entries
I
on
could
it,
care less.
and I think that one of Han and Leia's kids went dark side.
Yeah, and then Chewbacca dies. Spoilers.
And then Han dies.
Yeah. This all happens.
Well,
Wait, people
he died
die.
of old
Spoilers.
age or somebody shoots him first.
One of Han and Leia's kids gets Chewbacca killed.
He cuts the wrong wire.
It's probably
I
Jason,
don't know.
because he's the one who went dark side.
That's probably Bruce Wayne.
I think.
Whatever. I don't really know. I don't really care. I think it's dumb. Should we move on to
Bruce
Movie
Wayne.
Box? We're
It's
kind of...
because Bruce Wayne got scared of the play and made his parents go out, and then they got shot.
Yeah, let's go on to Movie Box. This week's Movie Box pick
Spoilers.
was
Wait,
Great Way North, and he couldn't be here tonight, but he picked Kung Fu Hustle. And
This is the best live-action cartoon I have seen in a long time.
Wait, including what's on the list?
Kung Fu Hustle.
There are other movies that are like this.
Well,
so
sort of.
doesn't that also make it the worst one?
Well, do you count like Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Well, but that's actual. That's got actual
Cartoons, yeah.
cells, cartoons in it.
What you're describing is all like the CG is used to do like a lot of cartoony effects, like
Not just that. I mean, like how they were running like the Roadrunner, or how they would like. He got his face punched.
Smash their feet.
He got his face punched in, and then he still stuck his hand up and hit him with a little piece of wood.
Yeah.
Or like when he was,
or he got bit by the vipers, and his lips grew to like 15 times their normal size.
And now he kept getting stabbed with knives.
No, that was.
I thought
that
was pretty good.
So good.
That was pretty good comedy.
I forgot how funny this movie was.
Where did this handle go?
I don't know, but it's not helping.
I don't quite get why he sticks it on and puts it back in, but
for the lulz.
Well, because he says he pulls it out and he says no. But he does. The guy doesn't hear him until after he's like started to pull it out, so he puts it back in. It's just like, oh man, yeah, I laughed considerably. Mrs. Totoro probably thought I was losing something.
So is this the first time you saw it?
Yes, this is the first time I've seen any of Stephen Chow's.
Same here.
It sounds like you enjoyed it.
I did. I was watching the beginning of it before it really got silly, and I was. For the first few minutes, I wasn't particularly enjoying myself.
Like when the guy killed the other guy, and then he danced, walked up to him.
Yeah, it was like, what in the hell is this bullshit?
Really?
And then they started dancing.
Because I thought the intro scene was.
Well, I thought it was
like, I thought it was really smart how it just kind of establishes the entire setting and the relationship between like understanding that gangs are in charge of like this area, like the police have no power, and then the gang that's running everybody is this axe gang.
Right. It just, I don't know. It just that didn't bring me into anything. It's like, okay, these guys are dead.
You had to wait for the slapstick from the hairdresser taking his monthly shower. Like all those things are so funny.
So the beginning only set up for me that the movie could be weird as hell, and I already knew that. The only thing I like about the movie that it was a little bit too violent. That could just be a personal thing, but like,
it was really violent.
Yeah, it's like
there was a decapitation,
but at the same time, it's also really violent. I'm like, I probably would have liked it more if it was a lot less. The violence was a lot less gory.
Tom and Jerry cartoons though are also super violent.
Yeah, but like they don't have.
They're just not gory.
Legs, getting cut off and stuff. I mean,
true, but they have people getting exploded.
The movie isn't that violent, but there are a few scenes that seem like it go over the line. Like, damn, that guy's head just fell off.
But it's not like blood, guts, gore type gory. It is like decapitation, but
it's not like Kick-Ass or anything.
Mm-hmm.
When it kind of in that vein, when I was watching that, and when the guys with the, I don't even know what kind of stringed instrument that was, but when the guy is walking to like leave, and you can see the stuff happening behind him, and there you see the cat, and I was like, oh my god, what's going to happen to that cat? And then you see the shadow of it get like cut in half. I was like, oh, that's funny because it happens kind of off screen, but
that was a really cool shot though.
That was a really cool shot, and that's one of those that I can really really appreciate.
In general, a lot of like the shots and cinematography in this movie is very good.
The CG is pretty bad though.
Yeah.
But that kind of adds to it.
Yeah.
But that's intentional.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's intentional, but I think they tried their best with that. But in general, the look of the movie is really good.
Well, I think they tried, I would imagine, let me phrase it like that, I would imagine that they tried to make some of it appear as over the top as possible to further...
Well, it's a cartoon.
Enhance the to further enhance kind of the slapstick quality of
One thing
movie.
that's not good about this movie is the story. It's kind of...
It's serviceable.
Yeah, it's nothing special. It's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, there wasn't really... it didn't really focus a lot on the main character. And then he just kind of shows up at the end and is suddenly super awesome.
One thing I liked about when he shows up, because the main character is played by Stephen Chow, is when he shows up, he plays a little soccer. And that's like a nod to his previous movie, Shaolin Soccer.
Yeah.
I've never seen that.
I highly recommend it because I think it works a little better than this movie. Because this movie is like... this actually has a lot of like kung fu battles. But the final fight that Stephen Chow has is not really that impressive. Like as far as like kung fu fights goes. I thought the other people who were fighting were much more impressive.
Well, it was okay. Like like when he's finally walking up a dude, and it walks through like 10 guys to get there when they're all in that aisle. I thought that was a pretty good section of the fight, but otherwise I agree.
He does a lot better like when he does like a lot of the silly stuff. So when he applies a lot of that kung fu acrobatics to like this Shaolin Soccer movie, it's a lot funnier, and I think it works a lot better.
I should watch that. Isn't that on Netflix?
It's not on streaming. I don't think. It might be. I'll check real quick.
How about CJ7? Is that good? It's also a Stephen Chow movie. No clue?
No
Anybody?
clue.
No clue. No clue.
So you've only seen the two Stephen Chow movies?
Yeah, I mean, those are the most famous ones. I saw Shaolin Soccer first, so I was excited to see Kung Fu Hustle when it came out in the theaters. But I remember it's the same impression. Like, I thought Kung Fu Hustle was good, but I really liked Shaolin Soccer better. And a lot of the same people are in Shaolin Soccer. Like, his fat sidekick, he is like, he plays like soccer, Shaolin Soccer. And
this should get Darfox's interest. Stephen Chow is in the movie Gorgeous with Jackie Chan. Darfox?
Okay.
Well, I guess Darfox is gone. So, this movie was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought so.
I think I'm going to watch Shaolin Soccer.
Yeah, I highly recommend you check out Shaolin Soccer, because I think it works like a lot better for Stephen Chow. Just because I don't think he's like the best like martial artist. You can tell, like, because he directed this, you can tell he has a good sense of like direction, and like especially like the comedy stuff. The funny stuff was really funny.
Well, I think he wrote it, part of it as well.
Written and directed.
Darfox.
Oh yeah.
Do you have any final thoughts about Shaolin Soccer? Kung Fu Hustle,
or the fact that Stephen Chow was in Gorgeous with Jackie Chan?
You know, I don't recall seeing the whole movie of Gorgeous, so I don't know who he was. But was he like 12 years old in that movie? Because that was
It was 99. He played a police officer. He was born in 62.
Damn, but he's old.
Yeah, I think that's part of the problem. Because of his age, like, he wasn't able to do a lot of crazy stuff. But yeah, good movie and good choice by Great White North.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, but I don't know about next week's pick. Next week's pick is by Good Lord Man, and his Moviebox pick is The Road.
Oh, yeah, I have not seen it.
Yeah,
that movie, I hear, is super depressing.
I haven't seen it either.
I've seen the movie and I've read the book. No good will come of this.
It's just post-apocalypse. It's just post-apocalypse. How bad
is
can
it
it
a
be?
one-way ticket to Bummertown?
It is not just a one-way ticket to Bummertown. It's like an express train ticket to Bummertown.
Well, you're giving spoilers, so let's stop, even though...
That's not a spoiler. Unless there's an actual place in the movie called Bummertown.
No,
Bummertown.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying...
Yeah, it's this town where they all bum
Yeah,
around.
but if I don't want to go into the movie
nobody
knowing that it's
in
gonna
that town has a job.
Depress me, like...
Is Gary Sinise
Vagrant
in this
AI
movie?
knows a lot about
Viggo
that. No, Gary Sinise.
Mortensen is...
Viggo Mortensen, the kid who was in the remake of Let the Right One In, is in it.
And I think the guy that played the Terminator in the Sarah Connor Chronicles is in it. I guess I'm the only one that watches Sarah Chronicles.
You like bringing up all these TV shows.
handful
X
of
watches a lot
episodes.
of random crap that none of us...
He was also in Burn Notice. I think in the 4th season, he was the crazy guy at the end of the season that did all the stuff that Michael got framed for.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think I only watched the first 3 seasons of Burn Notice and then said, fuck this.
I don't blame you. I just went back to it for the Campbell.
Bruce Campbell's pretty great.
I saw a few episodes here or there.
Bubba Hotep.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Bruce Campbell said he would like to make the horror version of The Expendables, where they get all the...
What would that even
Where
be?
they get all the like great horror movie actors and put them all in a movie together.
So, like, get him, Robert Englund, Kane Hodder.
Those were some of the names.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
I think Sarah
Who's
Michelle
Kane Hodder?
I'm trying to
Gellar.
think of some.
He played Jason.
Kane, he was the original.
He is
Jason.
not the original Jason.
Well,
He was
the
starting
Jason,
from 7.
He's the original. Was it 7?
I believe it
thought
is
it was
7.
Like earlier than that. But I think he did he did whatever to like 10, and they've got a new person playing him in the more recent one.
He's also a stuntman.
Get Tom Savini.
He was also mentioned. So was Sarah Michelle Gellar, though. I thought that was weird.
I don't know about that.
I don't either.
Well, before we wrap up this podcast, I just want to bring up that on our Mumble server, Totoro has started live streaming his playthrough of Amnesia.
Oh, God. Yeah, I've been doing that, but I don't know if I'm going to continue. It'll probably require some additional interest because I'm not that interested in it anymore. I'm about 3 hours in.
I think the problem is you watched all these like YouTube clips of like people's reactions playing through freaking out. So you've spoiled yourself. X refuses to watch anything, and I think that was smarter. If we watch X playing this, it would probably be much more interesting because
I think I would rather do Resident Evil 1, the original, not the remake. Not because it's scary, but because it's hilarious.
Would you be able to play that game with hand controls and all?
I think so. It's only like an hour long.
See, like when we were watching Totoro do this live cast, it wasn't that he was getting scared. He was getting mad and frustrated with like, you know, the not perfect controls and like dying a lot and like bad mechanics and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, and it's like, you know, there are definitely these parts where, you know, you don't want to, you know, use up your lantern, but then you need to look around in the dark for stuff, for like levers and buttons and crap. So it's like, you know, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, but you use it at the worst possible moments, and when you should be using it, you don't use it. At least from a backseat game point of view.
Playing the game wrong.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we recorded a bunch of stuff already, so that will be put up at some time, including our commentary while that happens.
I looked up Kane Hodder. His first Friday the 13th was Part 7. But he was also in a previous Moviebox pick. I believe this was before we started doing the podcast, though. And he was in House 2, The Second Story.
Oh, God, I remember that movie.
Yeah, that was before.
That movie is great.
What was the electrician guy?
Yeah, the guy from Cheers and Toy Story.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Why don't they just...
And the other guy from Cheers was House 1.
George Wendt.
He was in the first house.
Why don't they just make Freddy versus Jason versus Ash? Like they were going
to. I was going to say that's actually something that they floated around.
Bruce Campbell's still old at this point. It's a shame.
Why didn't they make The Army of Darkness versus the Reanimator?
See, that sounds really interesting to me. I would be down with that.
I don't know what the Reanimator is.
My first Moviebox pick was
H.P. Lovecraft.
Reanimator. This was like years ago, though, at this point.
Yeah.
I should pick that again, because that movie is so good.
That reminds me of the movie. I remember seeing this movie. Do you ever have these movies that you remember like seeing as a kid, but then it was like so kind of B or like B movie type stuff, or you just don't remember what it was, and like it would, you know, freak the shit out of you, and you can never find it.
Yes.
There was a movie like that for me, and I actually found out what it was, but I just remembered like these certain things. But it was this movie From Beyond, which I think was made by the same people who did Reanimator.
That movie is kind of creepy.
So, which one?
From Beyond.
Oh, maybe I'll go back and rewatch that one eventually. Maybe I'll make that a Moviebox pick.
Well, as far
I
as
don't
the
think a
streaming
lot of
stuff
people
goes,
would like it.
As far as the streaming stuff goes, I might be streaming my playthrough of Slender, but I don't know how long that will last. Because I did a little test one, and I only lasted like 2 games because I was screaming so much. So,
it's also a short game.
Yes, I unlike you who does not get scared, I get scared very easily. Yes, I was freaking out.
Big time.
But anyway, that kind of stuff we'll post in the mumble, right, Dark Fox?
Yes, sir.
Dark Fox, thanks for being on the podcast.
No, thank you.
Oh wait, never mind. I was gonna say we need next week's Moviebox pick, but never mind. I remember when we express train ticket to Bummertown.
Yep.
Jeez, duh, we've been there.
The town of homeless people without jobs.
And with that, we'll end. Thanks for listening to the episode. Thanks for Dark Fox 8 for joining us, and special guest Tumble for joining us this week. If you enjoyed this podcast, please donate to the official Geekbox Mumble server, where we hang out and stream stuff and play Company Heroes and have a lot of fun. So if If you want to be on the podcast, jump into the Mumble server, talk to us, or PM us on the forums. You can PM Mr. X, Totoro, or me, Dakazu, at forums.geekbox.net. Follow us on Twitter, alltalk podcast. You can email us questions or comments at podcast@alltalkpodcast.com. Don't forget to review us on iTunes and listen to the other podcasts, including the Geekbox, the Comic Conspiracy, the Comedy Button, and Good Job Brain as well. That just about sums it up. I love you.
I know.